then you'll be able to develop skills, and you will have positive outcomes every time. Every single time. So, and you know, I talked to you about the answer's not in you, it's in the person. I'm gonna tell you this quick story, all right? Because I just started working at Roger C. Peace when I'm gonna come up here so you can see my face. Like that's important. But so I was at Roger C. Peace, and you talk about the coolest life lesson, and I have applied this ever since. This was in '95, and I was brand new recreational therapist on the floor, and I go to the meeting at lunch, and a psychologist slash pastor was the talker, the speaker, and he was talking about how the answer's in the person, not in you. And he was talking about his internship, and he was working with Down syndrome, and I can't even remember, it was like a double whammy diagnosis. It was Down syndrome and something else, and it's adult males. And so he's doing his internship, he's telling the story about this guy who is beating his head up against the wall. And so he's a new intern, and he goes over and he's talking to the guy, and he's saying, hey, he takes him to his own happy place. He's like, think about the ocean and think about the waves, and they're so pretty, and it's so soft, can you hear the waves? And he's like just making up stuff. Here's this brand new intern. And the guy beats his head harder up against the wall. So he goes back later and reads the guy's chart, and he almost drowned when he was younger. So like he's taking him to a very unhappy place. So he read the chart and found out he was crazy excited about fire. So next time he started beating his head, he just lit a candle and handed it to him, and he quit. So he would just stand there, hold the candle, but he quit beating his head. So it's the answer's in the patient, not in you, right? So this was huge. It impacted me big, and I am not lying. The very next day, here I am brand new, back in '95, and I have an opportunity to apply it the next day. That talk was at lunch, and literally God set me up, man. I was like, holy cow. So I am walking down the hall at Roger C. Peace, 3rd floor, and I hear this little 22-year-old male who's already pulled his trach out twice. I think he's already done it twice. Once they had stitched it in. And so he will die, his throat will include, and he will die if they don't do the crash cart and open it back up. So he's got to leave this trach in so he can breathe. He's 22 years old, 23. And so I hear him screaming, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. So I already picture his hand on the trach again. And then Mom is screaming, no you don't, no you don't, no you don't. And then I'm like seeing nurses over at the nurses station. Are they not hearing this? They're sitting on the computer. I'm the closest in proximity. You know, I'm recreational therapy assistant. So I'm a little podunk. I don't, you know, how am I supposed to do something? But I know I have the knowledge from the day before. The answer's in the patient. And so I like have to decide at that moment, run away or go in and help. And so I really wanted to run. I was nervous, but I ran in there. And I just remember he did have his hand on the trach and he's screaming, I want to die, I want to die. And Mom's still screaming, no you don't, no you don't, no you don't. And I just started screaming with him, yes he does, yes he does, yes he does. And he immediately took his hand away from his tray. He said, see Ma, she understands. Wow. And then Mom was willing to say it. Okay, you do want to die. I was like, yeah, you're not saying you want him to die. You're saying you understand he wants to die. So I sat down and they both right beside me on each side, and we just talked through that a little bit. And I found out, well, why do you want to die? And he said, because I want to be home. And so I knew he had 3 weeks before they pulled the trach out, 2 or 3 more weeks left before they got that out. And he still had to stay on that floor until they were able to do the surgery for taking that out. So I just found out, what is it about home that makes home home? So it took me 20 minutes to get what makes home to him in his room. Blow pops, Melly Yella, and his music. That was it. And got those 3 things in 20 minutes. He could have Melly Yella, he could have drink, he could have his blow pops and his music in his ears. And he never mentioned that trach again, ever, the whole time. He had enough home, bringing enough home to them to make him okay. So answers in them, huge, huge life lesson as a therapist. So balance of grace and truth, you know, that's key as a therapist. Literally, you got to tell them, you know, where they're going, where they, you know, they're not quite there. But you got to offer it up with grace. You know, you're doing well with this area, you're doing fine here,
but let's work on, you know, this is an area we can improve. So just having that balance is kind of key. So this is what I mentioned earlier. So this is traditional, purposeful, and important. So fine motor skills, chopsticks, beans out of rice. So in OT, you know, you're doing manipulation, you're doing fine motor, gross motor, and then you can make a bracelet and do all of those at one time and have a finished product. And so yeah. Kind of gives it this. The picture kind of speaks for itself. It's going to be easier to stay with the make a bracelet. Did I cut them all off? Nope, not the pennies. All right. So this is some of our outcomes for 2016. I just redid those. They always seem close to the same thing, but not quite, a little bit, but 97% needed. This was out of 198 people served last year. How many were females and males? And that's just some of the program. The satisfaction survey was really high. Everybody really gets a lot out of it. And 83% maintained their abilities. And I don't have my grid just for those VOC patients. Now I've got a little grid. I've got to make this page for just the phase 3 patients. So it'll be a lot fewer number that are returning to work, but I think I had 112, and then it went down to 83, the people that were full program. So we had about 70 something patients that were really VOC, you know, going to go back to work or school. This is the manual that it's a 400-page manual that I wrote as a student, the doctoral program, and I think I've got it. I don't know if I'm afraid to get out of this. I've got it on the front page. I can show some, if y'all are interested in looking at that, I can show you that manual. I just made it digital and user-friendly, so you can go to the table of contents and touch anything on it. Let me show it to you, because yeah, that is kind of, if I go out of this, y'all think I can get back? I'm just not, oh yeah. Alright, so I think I got it right here on the desktop. Yeah, so so literally, like if, so I've got it so this patients and staff, if somebody who's doing covering can go in, they don't want to know about the budget, but if they're going to do CB bracelet with a patient, they can click on that, and then they'll just go straight to the pictures and walk, and the patient can go straight through and follow the instructions of making a seed bead bracelet. So that's a specific bracelet. It's got teeny weeny seed beads on it. So we have that for tons of activities, cooking, baking cookies, or etching or enameling, or anything that you can do in the co-op is in here, and it's broke down in turning the dryer on so that you can, yeah, this is just screen printing shirts. So just that is an awesome task for, you know, our guys who don't want to, you know, they want something that's meaningful. So instead of doing group peg tests, I'll just take all the little nuts and bolts, what do you call them, the lug nuts, the washers. No, not the washers, it's the kit that comes with your wrench. I use it to take the bolt, the sockets. Yes, can't think of that word. So the socket set, I'll just dump that out because it's got all the numbers on it. And a guy would rather do that, and I can measure how well he's doing with that, just like the group peg test or anything else. But he's got more buy-in because it's tools. You know what I mean? He's a mechanic. He's like, yeah, let me mess with this stuff. But I can show how fast he did it this day, and 2 weeks later, how fast did you do it that day? So I can measure. It's measurable. So just making all these real-world activities measurable, you know, so you can see how well they do it. Do they need the written instructions? Can you just tell them how to do it, or whatnot? So just the manual is what I did to make it user-friendly. And so now I'm selling parts of my manual because people like it. They like having the modules and stuff and the other programs, and actually going to go to Atlanta for autism, actually, which is cool because, you know, the lady who started this program in Atlanta wants me to come and present and kind of help them get started on, so I'll consolidate it and do specific things but she's got so many kids and adults with autism, and they have bad social skills, but they need repetition. with stuff. So there's a lot of these projects, we can make it simple enough for them to start making a living making some of this stuff, making the jewelry, making the paracord, and have a real a job doing some of this stuff. So that's the manual's a fun project, and it's also collaborative. It's literally, I had patients help me with my own manual for the doctorate program. This was a interior decorator, and that is to scale the furniture so that we can move those pieces around. And so I went to Philanthropy and said, here's the scale. I need storage equipment all on this wall that are nice caboodles so that we can organize it and put the names on it. So this lady who, interior decorator at TBI, this is her project. She comes in, this is her therapy. Boy, it was awesome therapy. She really, it was a way for her to give back. It helped me out a ton. And at the same time, it was just, so literally her therapy is this. Coming up with strategies, and I had a patient last week. He wants to go back to chimney sweeping. I was like, let's go. So we went and got on 3 different roofs and got on the chimneys. And I said, you fill out the paperwork that you normally do. He brought his from home. It's his own business, and his wife does he'll fill out the main sheet. So we did 3 chimneys, mine and 2 of my friends at work who needed chimney sweep, and so he did the estimate and fix my chimney. So that was nice. So I mean, I paid him for it. It wasn't for, but yeah, it's kind of cool to just be able to do whatever they do. All right, let's go back big. I don't know why I don't trust it. Like, will it come back? All right, so that's the manual. So therapeutic collaboration. So this is just a few things. This is just some of the examples. So this is the 3 components. So everything fits into either work worth doing, art of hope, or silver lining jewelry. So relevant creations by relevant people. So literally this is just some of the stuff we've come up with, just naming it and stuff, finding catchy things. But it is a collaboratory, so we're all working together for the same thing. But most patients will make something for themselves first. We want them to make, and then if they want to make something for us to sell, we will. So the 3 components: new and emerging research continues to demonstrate that the use of this tribe, which highlights repetitive practice of real-world activities, not only has potential to improve motor function and occupational performance, it also has the powerful potential to reorganize people's brains. So Gillen, I talked with him at AOTA. He's a cool guy, but he's real good friends with Barbara Shell, and who wrote Clinical Reasoning in one of our books, and one of our main classes. We had to have clinical reason throughout school, which is amazing, and love it, and I'm a big promoter of it. So it's really cool. She's good friends with Gillen, and so they're talking we're doing like a face chat, or whatever you call it, the FaceTime, and so we made a huge necklace for, I wish I had a picture of that, this necklace that we all 5 of us designed for Barbara because she's retiring. So I had 5 patients and 4 patients and me designed this cool silver pendant with a titanium gold stone at the bottom and this like 5-color stone at the top. And we put the Bernal symbol in it. I mean, it was like, I sold it to them for $600. I mean, it was real nice with the Byzantine chain. So, I told the teachers at AOTA, let us do the presents that you're going to give her when she retires. And so I was like, what's my budget? And they said, we'll give you $600. So I just made them a $600 necklace, and it's just gorgeous. And so she's talking to him, Gillen, and she's showing him the necklace. We're all facing, and she goes, oh, you need it. And so we ended up talking. So he's coming to my place, and we're going to get to write what's the magazine? OT Practice magazine. So we're going to do a piece together, me and him, which would be kind of cool. And her, Barbara too, we'll have her name on it because she's our big wig from Bernal. So it's really cool. So we're going to do a whole piece on the Weston Co-ops for OT Practice. I was real pumped. So she loved her little necklace, but it was so powerful because every piece we do is unbelievably unique. And so, I mean, the silver plate this has never happened, but a huge crack went down the silver plate when we were heating it up. And that's never happened in all the years I've been doing jewelry, for about 15 years. And literally, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, well, that's okay. We've got plenty of silver. And the guy who had a stroke that was working on it, he was like, you said there was no mess ups in art. I'm like, you're right. I did. So I was wanting to start out brand new, and he was